All right, here we are. We have some Cyberpunk City music playing in the background, and let's get going in our character creation rules for everyday heroes. Now, if you want the super short version, we have been in the workshop for not even 1 minute. I'm going to tell you that this is mostly the same as D&D 5e. Standard array, or if you want to do point buy, or if you want to roll, you may. And there might even be other ways to go about it. But this works on the same engine, and you're going to see many similarities. There are some awesome differences, and I really enjoy the differences in character creation we see here, especially given how we've normally created characters in the workshop before. By focusing on backgrounds, who the characters are, not simply what they do. So, concept first approach. This is use what you have an idea for. This is all. This is fluffy. If you've never played a role-playing game before, this is written to reassure you that there's no one way to make your character. I suggest, especially if you have trouble somehow separating this system set in a fantasy setting, and you go, I don't know, it doesn't seem realistic. It's a weird oxymoronical thing, but it can happen. It doesn't seem real enough, even though if we put it in a modern setting. And so you might have trouble visualizing that. You can visualize an elf warlock, but you have trouble coming up with a modern character. Well, think about an action hero from a movie, or a character from a novel, visual novel, light novel, or a classically written novel. Think about a comic character that you enjoy, graphic novel, or just a regular old 32-page floppy. These are the types of characters you're creating. Ones that are the big damn heroes, just like your D&D characters are big damn heroes. If you want to do it concept first and you want to make a Wolverine-style character that goes around saying snicked bub, snicked, snicked bub, snicked, there you go. If you want to go rules first, you can. Kind of min-maxing, or you're playing to what is written, and you're not really like the fluff of the character comes after the mechanics of the character. Or if you just want to make something, go for it. When we make our characters, we're going to randomize it. And I'm going to show you can make some awesome and compelling characters through the randomization process. All right. Now, a hero in 6 steps. Who's your daddy and what does he do? Who are you? What influences shaped you? What do you do now? When and where did you step out of the ordinary and become a hero? Why and how did it happen? If you want to answer these with a backstory, you may. These are good prompts. That is ultimately going to be up to you. There are other charts, either in this, through the interpretations of this book, or with other third-party things that can help you craft a backstory if you have trouble doing so. We'll come up with our own to show you ways that you can, believe in yourself. And through the power of anime friendship in this channel, we will unlock that ability in you. These are good things to think about, and I would also say don't write a 300-page backstory, because then why are we playing the character now? So leave something to be explored. Anyway, you have in this system your archetype and your class are what would make your class and subclass in D&D. It's a weirder mix than that, and you'll see. But you get benefits, you get mechanical benefits for being this kind of a hero. Are you a strong hero, an agile hero, a tough hero, etc.? So think about that. You will get abilities based on this, and then your class will open up to you based on your archetype. Then think about a background for your hero. This will give you an ability score increase, proficiencies with skills and weapons, and some other things here. There are prompts here for languages and nationality. If you want this to take place on Earth, and you use what and who you know, there you go. As I told my players for our everyday hero game of Apples to Oranges, this is taking place kind of in the same world that the Chroma Company did, in that Coffee Cat is continuing in Rebirth, a D&D tale. So if you don't want your characters to all be human and to speak English, Mandarin, Hindi, Spanish, etc., then why not have your character be an elf? There's nothing wrong with saying humans in this system. While this doesn't specify it, all the characters are presumed to be human. It's called a ribbon. It's sort of like it's a little fun little feature, but it doesn't really have a mechanical impact. A character that can live to be 700 years old is mechanically not different than a character that lives to be 20 years old. Dark vision, low light vision, and similar things. There are mechanical uses for it, but these are ancillary parts. And if you want to tack it on, and you want to recreate elves, and so you say, all right, well, here's my setting, and I'm going to make a dwarf, an elf, and all this, and give some fun little give-me's to that. But there's not a racial component to creating a character in Everyday Heroes. If you want to reskin a human as a human with a funny hat, i.e. like long pointy ears, green skin and tusks, whatever, you can. But the characters are made and draw their abilities in different ways. An elf warlock, that's a lawyer. I had to pay my rent, and a series of events led me to fight the devil. That sounds like the latest manga. I'm sure it has a very succinct title. Everyone calls it like Devil Pay or something like that. I remember way back when Mr. T was doing advertisements for WoW. What was it? A night elf mohawk. Also, hi Maverick. If I didn't say hello to you earlier. So think about the kind of hero you want, and especially the class that will something on my hand from the desk. A class that will unlock with it. Think about your background, because this is going to give you extra things. Iconic equipment suggests small items reflective of your background. Use it as written and modified to your liking, a special feature. And then we get into your profession, and I like this because often in D&D 5e we've used background as your profession. This splits it out. This isn't contrived. This is not a very complicated character creation, but you'll see that the elements of the character are sourced differently, which I believe makes to a more compelling character. Especially given the way that I explain character creation in 5e is different than how the player's handbook presents it, and I'd like to think my way is very holistic and thoughtful, which is why we've been able to make characters together for how many years now, going on 7.5 years, and it never gets old, and we've never made the same character twice, even though we've used primarily just the core player's handbook. Wealth level, this is great. This does so much to solve pricing issues and economic questions that many people have with a fixed pricing guide. It does allow for you to micromanage wealth, dollars and cents if you wish. But I like this as a broader concept in terms of things that are available or you don't have to stress about for your character. Ability scores then get added in. And this is going to be a very familiar chart for those of you who've played D&D before. Archetype and class, and then any finishing touches, your persona, other things if you want to do some equipment shopping as well. So if we go by here, and by the way, this does suggest using the standard array of 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. Here, tell you what, small. Well, I'll tell you what, small. If you want to take up the challenge of that or avoid it, why don't you tell me what kind of hero should we follow the rules and create? Do you want to make a strong hero, an agile hero, a tough hero, a smart hero, a wise hero, or a charming hero? And of course, these are placeholder words. You can have a charming hero who's not charming at all. But this is the category. This is the label on the bin holding the words. And the example here of concept, Cindy, the player, thinks about her hero for a new game. She's been reading about Annie Oakley, the sharpshooter from the American Wild West, and wants to create a similar character for a modern-day game. She decides to name her character Elizabeth Lizzie Mosey after Oakley's given name. Cindy grabs her character sheet and starts bringing Lizzie to life. The sharpshooter class on the class overview table sounds perfect for her concept. Lizzie will be an agile hero, which means dexterity should be her highest ability score. So, do you have a concept in mind that you want us to build towards, Small? Yeah, following the instructions here, what kind of a character would you like to see? Do you want to try and build a superhero of some kind? One of the issues I see with mental stats is like creating a character that focuses on being a brawler, pure strength, and knows how to take some damage, but also happens to be book smart. For any of you out there, Small has been doing a lot of home brewing. Working on different concepts and exploring the nature of role-playing games lately. So any prompts up here, you're welcome to reply to. This isn't just a me thing. You all are welcome to have input as well. Well, I'll tell you what then, Small. Let's build towards this. This is your concept. Let's make a brawling kind of character. In fact, there is a brawler. Why don't we try making a brawler and see what we can do about making this character also be competent and book smart. So, that is... we'll use the above as our concept. Think about your background. This choice gives you an ability score increase, and we can look at what they are labeled and the mechanics behind it. But we have the general idea for that here, for our background. So we have a brawler's in-your-face warrior who can fight with anything. Our key... Now, so in this case, our key ability score is Strength, Constitution. Secondary would be Dexterity. And let's Let's do this then. We're going to make the character and Archie. Brawler, Archetype, Strong. If we're making a level 1 character, those are our professions, archetypes, and classes. Alright, a strong hero. 1d10 per hero level. So our hit dice are d10s. We have 1d10. We're going to get that maximum at level 1. This is going to be plus our con modifier. And let's say that we go... let's see, so small said... Brawler, strength, knows how to take damage, but also happens to be book smart. So what if we do this? What if we start with 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8 as our starting scores. We are going to get Reckless Attack. At the start of your turn, you can declare you are being reckless. You gain advantage on attack rolls with melee weapons until the end of your turn. Your opponents gain advantage on attack rolls against you until the start of your next turn. So if we come down here, we have Reckless Attack. Now, if we look, and this might help you. With this system, your defense rides with your primary stat. We don't have to just dump things into Dex for a higher armor class. Our defense here as a meat shield, 10 plus strength mod plus our strong hero defense bonus. Our strong hero defense bonus is +1. And our proficiency bonus is +2. So here we have 10 plus strength plus 1 in this case. 10 plus strength plus 1. So if you wanted, we could even take dexterity and I don't know, would you prefer dexterity go to 10 and wisdom be at 12? It's not going to affect our defenses. Alright, now, from our class, not just our archetype, at level 1, we get to crush. You have advantage on any strength check you make to break an object. In addition, your melee attacks have +1 penetration value. We also hurl. You can double the throwing range when you attack with any weapon that has the thrown property. Smash. Once during your turn, when you hit an opponent with a melee weapon, including weapons with the thrown property, you can choose to deal an additional 1d6 damage or an additional 1d12 damage if you use the power attack talent as part of the attack. If you did not attack with an unarmed strike, the weapon you used to make the attack is destroyed. You can't use this talent with thrown explosives, such as grenades. The amount of extra damage increases as you gain levels in this class, as shown on the smash damage column of the Brawler table. Our saving throw proficiencies are strength and con. Skills. Choose 2 from acrobatics, athletics, endurance, intimidation, mechanics, and streetwise. I expect that wisdom affects perception and dex dodging. Though now that I think about it, both of them seem to be similar in a sense. Well, wisdom would affect perception as a skill. So I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's drop dexterity to 10 and bring wisdom up to a 12. And you want this character to have some smarts. And let's say that we go with just what's here. And you can always talk to your GM if you don't want it to be fixed to the book here. But let's say we want strong and smart. Let's go athletics. And let's see, what, mechanics? Are we good? Are we good at fixing machines or being a mechanical engineer? That could be the case. Or perhaps streetwise is a little bit more in the wisdom category. But let's say that we actually have a brawling engineer. Let's go athletics and mechanics. Equipment, basic equipment, and improvised equipment. This is equipment proficiencies, basic and improvised. Equipment recommendations. So we can come down here, and we'll put down that we have the badass pack. Weapons, unarmed strikes, and anything you find lying around. So weapon, we can just say unarmed. And I don't know if we have some sort of improvised. And we can get into the minutia of what that is. And so here we go. We have our talents. And in fact, why don't we copy and paste here? Alright, now that we have our archetype and our class, small, let's see, you're questioning wisdom, perception, dodging, maybe we were in academia? Or maybe we're in, if we're talking about perception, hi, 40 man. We can always just create a new profession, as these other ones are just suggestions. Use the following table to cost out new professions. Professions should have the following qualities. Worth a total of 6 points, have a special feature or skill expertise, have a wealth level, have at least one ability adjustment, offer at least one proficiency, have some flavorful, iconic equipment. What would be a good one here? I'm probably taking too long because I want to make sure that we're building out of the book to what you're talking about. Though the book also just says we can do a custom one. Military might work here. So, I guess let's go military. As a profession. I'm looking at professions and not backgrounds. I should look at backgrounds also. Profession, military. But our military profession is going to give us increased strength and con by 1. So this is going to go to 16. This is going to go to 14. We're going to get athletics, perception, and stealth. Now, if we wanted to spread this out from what we had before, we could move athletics into something else off of the brawler. Although, if we double up, that might just allow us to be an expert in it, if I recall correctly. I'll have to double check. Because that actually gets addressed in this book. We went over it before. But let's take a look at this. This was athletics, perception, and stealth. Perception, stealth. I'll float athletics as a second dot, and we'll move it if it's necessary. Military uniform, assault rifle, enlisted or 9mm semi-auto, service pistol as an officer, medium ballistic vest, ballistic helmet, military ID, and a letter from your sweetheart, if you wish. Our wealth level is 2, or level 1. We do have some special features from this profession as well. When on a mission or on your base, you have access to military weapons, vehicles, and equipment. It includes weapons and armor in your iconic equipment. You can travel for free to many destinations. If you're traveling alone, you are provided with room and board while living on base. So we can copy this as well. This is a nice feature to have. Apparently I didn't copy that whole part. But whatever. You're getting the idea here. Our backgrounds. Bookworm, increase your int or wisdom by 1. Choose an additional language. Natural sciences or social sciences. Caregiver, activist, art lover. Immigrant, cosmopolitan. Are we an epic gamer? Were we a LARPer? Were we raised by assassins? Librarian brawler. Oh, that was for the profession. We can do that if you want. We can swap that up. I'm sorry I missed that small. Law enforcement, or is that to create your own here? Unless that counts as something else. Yeah, so, but hopefully you're getting... is it under academia? Oh, I see, yeah. Sample careers, librarian, museum, docent, preschool teacher. Increase int and 2 other ability scores by 1 to a maximum of 20. Okay, so... if we do that instead, what did we get from being in the military? If we take this back... so we have a librarian brawler. Profession... academia... librarian. So the other one gave us strength and con. So let's return that back. This is going to give us increase your int and 2 other ability scores. So, I mean, we could still even do that. Our int can go to 15. And if we want a higher con and a higher strength, we can stick to that. Choose an additional language. So we're going to get +1 language. We'll just float that up here. Persuasion in either natural sciences or social sciences. So if we take away, because we ended up getting perception and athletics, we'll go for persuasion. And, yes, Conan the Librarian. Maybe natural sciences if we're, are we an engineer still? We understand the strengths of various metals and things. Laptop, laser pointer, school ID card, that's equipment, that's whatever, it's not mechanical, I'm not worried about that. Though that does bring our wealth level to 3. And our special feature debate, you can use intelligence instead of charisma on checks involving persuasion as long as the check relates to topics of academia. You gain advantage on such checks. So let's do that instead, and we are making Conan the Librarian. And so does this mean then, if you want then, we could even bring up intelligence even further and go for... if we are a brawler, if we're going for that Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes, you know, you're smart and you're strong. Bookworm could be good. Gamer could be interesting. Though if we're talking about Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man with the latest and greatest cell phone, if he's a technophile, increase your int by 1, choose one from computers, mechanics, and security. So we still have mechanics. We can go computers, not yet released smartphone. There's an app for that. You always have the latest and greatest cell phone before the general public. Your phone can substitute as any plausible tool in the equipment list. The GM has final say on what is plausible for your phone to do. Thank you, Raven.
14 sgishhear driven 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 14 sgishhear.
So if you wondered what Raven 14 Skullheart, how it's said in Welsh, there you go. So if we're a technophile, that is going to bring our intelligence up. Let's take computers, I guess. Or if we're an engineer, maybe security, because that's really good for setting or disarming traps. Our iconic equipment is a not yet released smartphone. Is that over here? And our special feature, there's an app for that. All right. So now that we have that, we can come up here. Our strength is a +3. Our dexterity is a +0. Our constitution is a +2. Our intelligence is a +3. Our wisdom's a +1. And our charisma is a -1. If we go through then with this, acrobatics, 0, 0. Stealth, however, because we're proficient, is 2. Vehicles is 0. Arts and crafts off of wisdom is a 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. Strength is 5. Int is going to be 3. Charisma is -1. Now this is just straight up. If there's something that we can use our ability, it won't be that. This is going to be a +1 for persuasion though. Mechanics, it was a 5. Intimidation, -1. Endurance is con, and that is a 2. Initiative is going to be +0, as that is a dex. Passive perception is going to be 11, that is 10 plus your modifier. Since our con is a +2, we have 12 hit points. Strength is 3. So our defense, 3 plus 1 is 4 plus 10. So our defense score is 14. And if we wanted to min-max, it could be 15. However, what we've done is we've made a smart brawler who is absolutely functional. We have Conan the Librarian, who can break things, and so is good at brawling and is also good at thinking thinky thoughts. And can endure. don't have this. If we have inspiration, we have inspiration. Genius, focus, and influence. That is for the mental stats that you're talking about, Small. Those are ways to have spells that aren't spells. So you might enjoy how they do mental stats here with that. But if you see, and this is a little slow because we're trying to make the impromptu prompt up above. But we very easily made a level 1 character. This is a character that is very functional in the theme that you wanted to explore. This character should be also functional in a traditional 5e game. And, you know, how would it work to isekai a modern character into get ye flask times? Well, I don't know. Is computers the same as Arcana? Or is it just the fact that there's such a big cultural difference that, I mean, the fantasy character can't really interface with the mobile phone that this character has? But this character might not be able to understand the arcane mysteries. But we have a character now, and we can provide equipment like armor and other weapons. That's ancillary, but we've created the character. We have our Conan the Librarian who can hit hard, take hits, and intelligence hasn't been compromised. We're not sacrificing or going, well, if I'm playing a fighter, guess intelligence is a dump stat. We're still getting useful intelligence, and it's okay that we don't have a high dex because our defense isn't measured off of dexterity. Our defense is measured off of the type of character we have in our archetype. So we've now broken the spell that dexterity is super powerful because you can attack from it and you defend from it and you have to save, and there's a lot of saves that, so dexterity is a very overpowered stat in my opinion in 5e. This system breaks that curse, and you now have a character that is functional and can do a great many things. Yeah, it's the most important stat in D&D because then you also get initiative. We've broken that here, and our character is still competent. Oh shoot! I was filling all of this in. Because I wasn't looking up at my screen. I'm sorry. Small. Wow, I'm a professional here. I was filling all of this in, and so here's the character sheet. We can perform. And we can be smart and do smart things. And we haven't lost anything. Now, this system does treat armor differently because your armor comes from you as a character. Armor is a stopgap against death. Will it save you from that bullet that finally hits? Because the concept of hit points in this system, and it exists in D&D as well, though often we just say, oh, you take the sword hit, oh, you take the magic missiles, oh, you got hit by a fireball and your hit points are being charred alive. The concept of hit points here is more like your luck is running out until you're finally hit with the one bullet that actually will knock you down or knock you out or kill you. And so armor comes into play on that lucky hit, when you would be reduced to 0 hit points, that's when you check your armor. The penetration value of the attack versus the armor value of your armor. Because it might just stop, that last attack from getting through. Because that's how you explain I'm fully functional with 11 billion hit points, and then I stop being functional all at once at 0. Because you have the same capabilities at 1 hit point as you do as 11 billion hit points. And so if you approach the concept like that of you're just getting mentally or physically or emotionally exhausted, or hit points are more a matter of luck. Think in action movies. You're dodging the bullets, and maybe you're getting winded, you're slowing down. It still just takes 1 to knock you down, to knock you out, or to yeet you off the planet. But until then, you're dodging, you're ducking, you're weaving. Your hit points are a measure of that willingness to fight, or of your luck of not getting hit until that one lucky one, which is why armor comes into play on the hit that would otherwise take you out. And I think it's clever. I really like it. In a sense, it can even give you not more hit points, but you can endure a little bit longer. Now, when you level up in this game, it recommends that your hit points are half plus 1 your hit die. And then you check here when you're leveling up as a strong hero. So we would get power attack, and then either 2 minor feats or 1 major feat. And there's a whole list because feats are baked into this system. And we look here as Brawler. Brawler, next thing that we get is at level 3. That's when our smash damage will level up. So level 2, we get hit points, power attack, and then we get to choose from here. Level 3, we get hit points, and then our class talents. So this is referring us to here. Level 4, you get hit points and 2 minor feats or a major feat. But you see, these are odd levels. Then we come back here. Level 5, you get hit points and class talents. Level 6, hit points and 2 minor feats or 1 major feat. And so ultimately, your Conan the Librarian can be very different from another person who wants to play a smart Barian. Because you might decide to focus on different things along the way. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I'm a total professional, aren't I, Sierra? As we come over here. So as we're flipping between, you know, what we need to do here. And so long as your ability doesn't go above 20, your the main feats here that you might choose to concentrate on, let's skip ahead to that. These are the plans. So if you want to play the wizard, right? You can do some plotting. Your speed is 30, proficiency's there. The persona and stuff, that's more fluff related. We're just building the character as per the rules. But there are, if you want to randomly generate it, there are things here for that. Equipment is equipment. Oh, equipment packs. What's the badass pack? Clothes, jeans, tank tops, steel toe boots, bag stuff, pocket stuff, utility knife, vehicle, old muscle car, and car stuff. You see how it keeps it broad? It just trusts you to work with your GM or just to be reasonable within a presumptive you know, here's the idea. Work with the idea. We trust you. This isn't going to be complete minutia. Weapons, so this is where you fill in your damage and other things. Ammo, carrying cases. These are little details for things. Various electronics you might have, vehicles that can exist. Where are my feats? There we go, Chapter 7, feats. So, a basic, that's a minor feat, increases one ability score by 1. So this means, small, you can just, if you just want to raise all your base stats, you can do it fairly quickly in this system. Now, you're not specializing in anything, but you're just generally growing all of your stats up. And so you can do this every 2 levels. You can raise this up. Or, if you really want to specialize, then you can go into, you know, here, Artful Dodger allows offhand attacks while dodging. Or you can run faster. Reload and service guns faster with fast hands. That kind of a thing. If you want to go major, and instead of getting 2 minor bumps, you want to go for 1 big thing, then how about... and by the way, those multi-classing is done through feats here, which is also nice and keeps things simple. You want to be a Harrier, block melee attacks and attack while retreating. And there's other descriptions here. Oh, here, look, Small. You were talking about a you were talking about like a chef character, I think, before. Let me see if I can find that. Biggest stats or mental stats or issues. Expect wisdom, perception. You made mention about a character that cooked, I thought. But here's an idea. As a chef wielding knives, why couldn't you use that to quickly flick the fuse off of some dynamite? Or here, in fact, Small. Here you have a weightlifter who's reading about chemistry. They have you covered, Small. They're at the end of your legs where feet belong. Of course. The whole time. Rin's the Goblin is a goblin that focuses on cooking and stealing from people. So there's a lot here you can do to customize to make a character that you want. And again, the system, here we go. This is, here's your goblin character, except maybe it's with food. You're very fast at pickpocketing and adept at using combat as a cover for your larceny. You can make a dexterity sleight of hand check to pickpocket as a bonus action in combat, provided you have a free hand. If you have hit an opponent with a melee attack this round, you have advantage on dexterity sleight of hand checks against that opponent this round. Pickpocketing is usually handled as a contest between a thief's dexterity sleight of hand check against the defender's passive perception. You can steal any reasonable item on the person that they are not hiding or wearing. Grenade pins and weapons are popular choices in combat. That'll teach you to wear them openly on a bandolier. But look! Small! What are we doing? Are we laughing? Are we smiling? Are we having fun and going, oh man, that'd actually be really cool? And isn't that the point when you're reading about a character that you can create? You can take sticky fingers at second level. You can get this early on. Yeah, this is a lot more flexible in how you create your character, in what your characters can do. And it's flexible, but it's not crunchy like Pathfinder is. It's also not as locked in as D&D is. This, as a system, comes across, while being compatible with 5e, this comes across as something that's a lot more open-ended, allows you to be imaginative, and actually have fun and think about cool stuff you want to do. So there's a lot of familiarity, but it opens this up, and as the rumor has it, and we'll explore that in future workshops, these are characters. Now, are you pulling grenade pins in, if your character was isekai'd to Waterdeep? Probably not. You could think of other things, though. You could steal a rapier out of someone's sheath, right? Or a dagger or something. But this should still be fairly compatible with 5e out of the book, from book to book. And we'll do an exercise on that. And look, the multi-classing. I talked about that. Multi-class feats here. You can multi-class into class training, advanced class training, an archetype. So if you're an agile fighter, or let's say you're an intelligence, and you want to take it the other way, and you want to be the chemist that's weightlifting instead of the weightlifter that's practicing chemistry, then as a major feat, take strong hero training. So then not only are you able to do your smart hero stuff, as a feat, what do you have to be? Not a strong hero archetype? It does ask for strength as 13 plus, which shouldn't be that difficult to do in this system, and level 2 plus. You've learned how to use your strength to focus and aggressive offense. Gain basic equipment proficiency. Gain proficiency in one of the following skills: athletics, acrobatics, endurance. Before making an attack, you can declare you're being reckless, and so you get reckless. So that's your feat training there. Now, if you want to go for a particular class and not just the archetype, you can do that too. And if you don't want to just be a strength or a strong hero, and you want to give more of a particular an MMA fighter chemist, or I guess the fighting Sherlock Holmes, then you've hardened your fist and honed your technique, making you a very dangerous unarmed combatant. You gained advantage on strength athletics checks made to initiate or escape a grapple. Once during your turn, before rolling to hit with an unarmed strike, you can declare it as a takedown. If the takedown hits, you deal damage, and it may may make a free unarmed special attack against the target. Once during your turn, before rolling to hit with an unarmed strike, you can declare it as a jab. If the jab hits, you gain advantage on your next melee attack roll against an opponent. This was the breakdown of, discombobulate. Or the, I don't know, the description of the jab is the Neo from the Matrix, the throat punch that, stops and then goes. So how do you want to spice up your character? Do you want to just be broadly good at a lot of things and just bump up your stats? Or do you want to specifically go for something else? How do you want to do it? You have 10 levels, and presumably you could take it beyond if you really wanted to. It's not in this book. It might be in another one to go from 11 to 20 or something else. But this book is focusing on the sweet spot, level 1 to 10. Small Anarchy says, first grenade was designed by Da Vinci. That's over 500 years ago. Well, then, yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, D&D, that's medieval stuff. Renaissance. That's a lot of Renaissance, really, if you're looking at the actually kind of stats and weapons and armor. D&D is more Renaissance era than it is medieval. But you know what? It's fantasy. So who really knows? Who really cares? Except for, I guess, people who do. And that's kind of weird.